So this is our first ever Pursuit series video. We're going to go over a hot topic because a lot of us deal with this, and it's low back pain and how to rehab the low back and what's really going on. And one of the basic concepts, or one of the, it shouldn't be basic, but it kind of is when we think about the low back, is the low back and like the muscles of our low back are like, they respond to the position that we put them in. You can't isolate contracting any of our low back muscles. Think of like your bicep. We can contract it. We can actually isolate that muscle. Try and do that same thing with your low back. It just doesn't happen. And so what that means is our low back muscles respond to the position that we put them in. We need to train them appropriately so they adapt to those positions. Three things whenever it comes to low back training or building strength around our core, which is what we really talk about when we think of low back, is understanding sagittal plane. What does that mean? It means everything directly in front of us. So when we think of that like a ab roll or a front plank or a sit up, everything is moving in this plane and we're resisting against flexion and extension. When we think of on the other side, frontal plane movements, so side to side, our side plank's a really good one. When we think of that, like we're resisting that the hip dropping to the floor. We're actually gonna go over side plank later on today. The next one is transverse plane or anti-rotational or rotational. Think of our Palloff press, our bird dog, which everyone has done. Now, why I don't necessarily want to go to the bird dog? It's useful at times. However, if you're someone deadlifting 600 pounds and we go to do a bird dog, is that really a good prep to then go pick up a heavy barbell? It's probably not going to move the needle. So we're going to go over some other things that might be a little better adaptation. So thinking in those three planes of motion, sagittal, frontal, transverse, let's start with an exercise that I really like to understand, yes, that sagittal plane of motion, and it's a Gar hammer raise. So Gar hammer raise, you could do it on the floor with a post. We could do it on a bench, incline bench, something like that. I'm going to demonstrate it with a post today and what that looks like. So getting onto our back, what we're looking to do is control the flexion portion of our spine, especially low back, which allows us to isolate that. So having something to anchor our hands on. And what we're gonna do is knees stay bent the entire time. We're not looking to get long and get psoas in the picture, but we're going here from this position, bringing our feet up, keeping the same orientation of our knee as we start to really try and tuck the low back and work those feet over our head, controlling that back down. So we're thinking segment by segment as we curl up and segment by segment as we curl down. I don't want to see the low back go flat and drop the hips. We're working through this motion. So I'm going to give a couple more so that you can follow along. And what I really want to see is we work through 2 to 3 sets of 10 reps of this, working on control through the low back. It's going to feel like if you've done, I don't know, back in the day, reverse crunch. We crunch forward, then we bring the legs up. Very similar to a reverse crunch. We're just putting a little different leverage by anchoring our hands. Next one that I want to work through is our side plank. So what I want to do here is really stay stacked through the shoulder. If the shoulder becomes wobbly, we become like unstable through this, not isolating our core. So I like to go palm flat, feet underneath, nothing crazy here. We're just working to lift, stay in a straight line. Hand on the hip, hand overhead, doesn't matter to me. We could spice this up and make it a lot of changes to this down the road. But for now, we're starting in this position. A lot of times I like to touch through my side, give good like tactile feel, like, is this firing? Is this working? Great. We get shoulder, we get obliques, we get glute, everything firing to keep us in a straight line and resist against like that lateral motion, which tends to be a big problem area. As we work through such sagittal and frontal, last one here being transitional or transverse plane, sorry. Transverse plane being a single leg RDL. So I'll first talk about bird dog and how it's very similar. As we think of this, bird dog being a motion where leg goes back, arm goes forward, we're resisting this rotation. Now, I want you to view it as like this leg is down, this arm is down, or vice versa, where we're going here, that leg is down, this arm is down. We're basically creating the posts around our hip and through our core to resist rotation. Very similar to whenever I stand up, like being here. When we get here, same thing. This leg is down, this arm is down. I'm still having to counteract this. However, because my foot is planted, it transfers better to doing things on the floor as an athlete or in a weight room. Whether it's kettlebell or dumbbell, doesn't matter. I'm not picky about that. I do just like having some sort of weight in our hand to add to that resistance if we're able to do so. So through here, leg goes back. We're looking to basically keep this pelvis neutral as we work down towards the floor and back up. I'm fine with having the foot touch every time. It doesn't have to be reps where we're working on balance, because the goal is just creating stability through right now this left hip, avoiding the hip drop, hip hike. We're just looking to say stack through that using glute med on this left side. And I'll demonstrate some on the right side where we're looking to basically stabilize this glute med so that we know what it does whenever we're going through hip flexion, hip extension. Same as squatting, same as deadlift, and it transfers over really well to prep the low back. So those three, gar hammer raise, side plank, single leg RDL, great starting point for a lot of people as far as like training those reflexive muscles of the low back.